and welcome. I'm Steve Smith, Public Information Officer for the City of Albany Police Department. This video will serve as a training tool for law enforcement and help educate drivers and pedestrians about their rights and responsibilities under the law. Approximately 300 pedestrians are killed and 15,000 injured by motor vehicles each year on the state's roadways, and more than 3,000 pedestrians are admitted to the hospital annually. Injuries to pedestrians are among the top 10 leading causes of injury-related hospital admissions and death for almost all age groups in New York State. Increased enforcement will help prevent these fatalities and injuries. Law enforcement will use their judgment to educate, warn, or issue a citation to pedestrians and drivers violating the law. Funded by the Governor's Traffic Safety Committee, this video was created in cooperation with the Albany City Police Department and the New York State Department of Health. We'll be covering the most common sections of the vehicle and traffic law. Let's get started. Using crosswalks can reduce the risk of a pedestrian crash. Pedestrians need to use them safely. Crosswalks indicate preferred crossing locations to pedestrians and alert drivers to expect pedestrians to cross. Crosswalks are present at all intersections. They can be marked by lines or other markings on the surface. At intersections, they can also be unmarked. But at mid-block locations, crosswalks are always marked. Appropriate use of crosswalks depend on location and whether traffic control and pedestrian control signals are in place. A pedestrian is any person on foot or in a wheelchair. When pedestrians cross a roadway, they must obey either traffic control or pedestrian control signals, as well as signs and pavement markings. Pedestrians are not allowed on expressways or interstate highways. At intersections, pedestrians must obey traffic control signals if pedestrian control signals are not present. Traffic control signals display green, yellow, and red lights and are used to control traffic. Pedestrians may cross a roadway on a steady green signal within any marked or unmarked crosswalk. Drivers must yield to pedestrians in crosswalks before turning. Pedestrians must wait to cross when the driver has a green turn arrow signal. Pedestrians should not start to cross the roadway on a steady yellow signal because there is not enough time to cross before a red signal. When intersections are equipped with pedestrian control signals, pedestrians must obey them instead of the traffic control signal. Pedestrian control signals display the following commands for pedestrians: the word walk or a walking person, a steady or flashing don't walk or upraised hand. Some signals may also include countdown timers for crossing, which tell pedestrians how much time they have to cross. Some pedestrian control signals are not automatic and must be activated by pushing a button. Pedestrians must then wait for the steady walk signal. Pedestrians have the right of way and should cross during the steady walk phase. Pedestrians should not cross the road if a steady don't walk or upraised hand appears. When don't walk is flashing, pedestrians who have already started crossing the roadway should continue to the other side. Pedestrians who have not yet started to cross should wait until the next walk phase. To yield means to slow down and come to a complete stop if necessary. If a vehicle approaches a stop sign, the driver shall stop unless otherwise directed by a police officer. After having stopped, the driver must yield the right of way to vehicles and pedestrians who have entered the intersection. If a vehicle approaches a yield sign, the driver must slow down to a reasonable speed for existing conditions, or stop if necessary and yield the right of way to any pedestrian crossing the roadway. It's important to note that when a driver is involved in a collision with a pedestrian in a crosswalk, after driving past a yield sign, the collision itself is evidence of the driver's failure to yield the right of way until proven otherwise. Take a moment to review the definition on your screen of due care. Clearly, a pedestrian has more to lose in a collision with motor vehicles. So, drivers must exercise due care, meaning they must act to avoid striking pedestrians. For example, this may include yielding and sounding the horn if necessary. If a driver injures a pedestrian, they are guilty of a traffic infraction. Pedestrians crossing at any point other than marked or unmarked crosswalks at intersections must yield the right-of-way to vehicles. When there are no traffic control signals, drivers must yield the right-of-way to pedestrians within a crosswalk. When there is a pedestrian tunnel or overpass available, pedestrians choosing to cross in the road must yield to vehicles. Pedestrians must not suddenly leave a curb and walk or run in front of a vehicle in a way that makes it difficult for the driver to yield. When a vehicle is stopped for a pedestrian at a marked or unmarked crosswalk, other vehicles approaching from the rear must not pass the stopped vehicle. Pedestrians must not cross an intersection diagonally, unless authorized by official traffic control devices. Pedestrians choosing to cross mid-block when there is no crosswalk must yield to oncoming traffic. If there are no marked crosswalks mid-block, the safest place for pedestrians to cross is at an intersection. Drivers emerging from or entering an alleyway, building, private road, or driveway must yield the right-of-way to pedestrians on the sidewalk. Pedestrians must not walk on a roadway where sidewalks are present and accessible. Where there are no sidewalks, pedestrians must walk on the left side of the roadway or its shoulder facing oncoming traffic. When vehicles approach, pedestrians must move as far to the left as possible. Walking on the left side of the roadway, facing traffic, makes pedestrians more visible to drivers and provides them a better view of oncoming traffic. Thanks for joining me for this video about New York State vehicle and traffic law for pedestrians and drivers.